call this meeting to order. Chief Newhouse, will you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Roll call.
Alderman Carmody.
Here.
Alderman Bellington.
Here.
Alderman Henning.
Here.
Alderman Stevens.
Here.
Alderman Wright.
Here.
Alderman Lockhart.
Here. All right, we have quorum. Thank you. I'd like to welcome all our visitors that are here this evening. First item is the consent agenda, the Finance Committee report from Alderman Bellington.
Finance Committee met this evening. Most of our discussion items were items that appear once a year on our check run, just annual things. Insurance was there, the annual maintenance contract on the water tower. We also talked a little bit about some items that we're seeing quite a little bit of maintenance and repair on, and that's something that we've asked the staff to delve into a little deeper, just to see if there's not some possibility for some savings there to us in the future. And with that, I would recommend approval of the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Consent agenda is ready for your approval.
I'll make a motion, we approve consent agenda.
Got a motion?
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second to approve consent agenda. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 6-0. Next is public comments. Anybody from the public? Anything to comment on? All right, seeing none. Move to the mayor's report. In the packet, you had a holiday card from the Odessa Board of Education, the Odessa School District. Thank them for that. Also wanted to say thanks to everybody who came to the City of Odessa staff dinner. Thank Thompson's for opening up their restaurant to the city and providing a great meal. We really appreciated that as well. Wanted to thank the Odessa Fire and Rescue Protection District for inviting the police and ambulance departments, as well as myself and Mr. Airy to the Christmas dinner that they had last week. And then this is our last meeting till after Christmas, so I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope you have a good time with your family and loved ones, and just enjoy your time off. Next is the service award. So if I could have Mr. Kenny Snyder and Darren Nelson come up, please.
All right. Both Darren and Kenny have worked for the City of Odessa for 10 years now. Kenny with the wastewater department and Darren with the electric department. And so this is an appreciation for 10 years of dedication and excellence in improving and providing quality public works for the City of Odessa Reserves. So Darren, it's yours. Sir.
I can get my good in here.
Yeah. Squeeze the other again.
This is for good measure.
When we do these service awards, I also like to point out that I think it's important to thank the families of both the employees. These guys, they don't just work normal hours. They have the normal hours that they work, but also they get called out a lot after hours, during holidays, family dinners, and so they sacrifice a lot of time with their families and friends, and so that can be inconvenient, and it never seems to happen at a good time, so also want to convey our thanks to the families as well. And this says a lot about you guys as well. Whenever they have to leave, it's difficult, so we appreciate the sacrifices that you guys make also, so thank you. Next is Alderman reports. We have Alderman Henning.
Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Johnson.
I would just also like to wish all the residents of the city a Merry Christmas, as well as the city staff. Thank you.
Alderman Walker.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to say that I've got several phone calls because of Patricia's closing and concerned about a town without a grocery store. I just wondered if there's some sort of plan that maybe we have to try to endorse a grocer to come, even if it be temporarily. I mean, I don't know what the options are, but I just want to voice the opinion, that there's many people that's concerned about not having a grocery store. And then I also do want to thank Thompson for letting us come up here for the Christmas dinner. It was very good, and the place smelled clean and everything, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Regarding Patricia's, I will say that city staff has been in contact with the real estate agent as well as the property management out there, and we're both very concerned, expressed concern about the city not having a grocery store in that location, and not just putting a new grocery store in that area, but it's trying to find another grocer to come to the city of Odessa. So they are looking, there are steps being taken towards that. And as far as an actual formal plan, we're going to be working with the Economic Development Council to target that specific need. So, Alderman Carnegie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do just want to wish everyone a very merry and safe, happy Christmas, happy New Year. Thank everyone for everything that they do, their role in the city, and making Odessa such a great place. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Stevens.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Brown.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next is Department Manager's Report. You have EMS, Community Planning and Development, and Public Works. Any questions on those? No questions? All right, moving on. We have no old business and new business. The first item is the approval for the I Love Odessa event, March 18th to 19th, 2016. Mr. Dave Bales, you come up to the podium and you have to turn it on.
It's on. Mr. Mayor, Board of Aldermen, thank you for taking the time to listen tonight. Last year's Dismiss Weekend saw over 250 volunteers consume the city of Odessa. Over 10 low-income homes were improved, 60-plus yards were maintained, and almost 600 residents were welcomed in city parks for block parties. We're expecting more volunteers this year. We're expecting 400-plus volunteers this year during our weekend. We're moving our weekend from the summer to the spring, so we're moving it up a couple of months, and so that's why we're trying to get the early approval here before the New Year starts. Dismiss Weekend, we're going to change the name of it to I Love Odessa. A lot of people don't know what Dismiss Weekend is, and because it's grown to more than just churches participating, a lot of people, a lot of residents in the city are asking to be a part of that. And so we're changing our strategy a little to where First Baptist Church and Calvary Baptist Church will definitely be still maintaining the project. We're not asking the city for any funds or anything like that. We are going to open it up to city residents and volunteers to participate more in that. We're working with city staff, Sybil, and city administrator, Mr. Airy, to also put in conjunction the city cleanup day with this weekend so that there will be volunteers available if senior adult residents can't get their items down to the citywide cleanup, that we would be able to volunteer, and then we would be able to go down and take those things. I Love Odessa is what we'll call this now. I Love Odessa will be March 18th and 19th. of 2016, with a makeup weekend for bad weather happening April 8th and 9th of 2016. Why I'm here tonight is that we have a couple requests that we need to request of the Board of Aldermen. First of all, we request that the Board of Aldermen, as they did last year, waive the fees and permitting requirements for construction projects during the weekend. We'll work with the city staff and inform them of the projects that have been approved and vetted, proven to be in need, proven to be low income, and we'll allow them to know that so that nobody's sneaking in and saying we were a part of this weekend. And so those will all be vetted through a process that we're starting very quickly. The second request is that we would like to have this information with signups for residents listed in the city newsletter for utility bills. We would like those requests to go in the January city bill and the February city bill. What we're asking is that it'll read as follows, and I will make this available to anybody who would like an email copy of it. What we'd like to put in there is coming up March 18th, 19th, 2016, the city of Odessa will be invaded by hundreds of volunteers with one purpose: to improve the lives of Odessans. Volunteers will do construction projects, yard work, and hold block parties in certain city parks. If you have a project that needs to be done, but you are not physically able, do you have an important home repair need but cannot afford to get it done? Are you getting notices from the city about upgrades to your home, but you need help getting those items completed? If you answered yes to any of these questions, this is your time to get the help you need. Please type the following link into your web browser, and we'll have links for city residents to go to and fill out a Google form. And then also, after that Google form link that we would like to put in there, we would also put, would you like to volunteer during I Love Odessa? Then there will be a separate link for people who would like to volunteer to go on and sign up, and then those will come to our email, and then we'll be able to vet the people who are in need of help, are in need of projects, and we'll be able to sign people up who are volunteers. And so it'll go all online-based. People that don't have access to the internet, they can also, if they're in contact with the city, we will be in contact with the city as well, or they can obviously just contact me in my office at the church. We'd also like to put this on the city channel, that is that rounding channel on the cable public access channel. Also, because we're expecting greater numbers of volunteers, we obviously need a greater number of projects. So we're requesting that the mayor, the Board of Aldermen, the Parks Department, and other city organizations to help us find projects for I Love Odessa volunteers to complete during the weekend. We are looking for projects big and small, and we love ideas. We're running into a position to where we're not having enough projects for the amount of volunteers that we have, and we definitely know that there's a need in Odessa, and we're just needing some help finding those as well. And so that's all that I have tonight.
Any questions? So, just so I'm understanding correct, the requests that you're making are to waive the permit fees for construction, any construction that you do, and to have the information, and we have a copy of the email, to have that information placed in the city newsletter, in the January newsletter, as well as the February newsletter?
Right.
Okay.
And on the public access channel, if that's a possibility.
Okay. So those two requests, we can do those together separate. Now, is this the exact same thing that you had done last year for dismiss?
Pretty much, yes, almost exactly the same. We didn't, we did not have anything in the city newsletter, but the permitting fees and the construction fees, all of that was approved last year, I believe.
I'd make a motion that we approve the I Love Odessa request as presented.
And I will second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the I Love Odessa request. Any further discussion on it?
Just one thing, I believe brought it up last year, but we want to make sure that any inspections that are required in the construction projects, that we still get civil to do our inspections.
Sure, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? Any comments from staff?
Just, I want to make sure that you understand that we have talked to the organization, and we're looking at doing the citywide cleanup on March 19th. So our portion of that is to provide dumpsters at Dyer Park. Not just the residents that this group is working with, but any Odessa resident can bring trash up that day. And that's coordinated by Ms. Wilson. And so that event will be moved, I think it was April or May last year, and we'll move it to March, kind of in conjunction with this.
I think that information would be good to be placed on the website as well.
Okay.
And the citywide cleanup will be rain or shine, though, right? It will be postponed as this event will be.
It usually is rain or shine, because it was raining last year when I was there. So, I think we'll say rain or shine on it.
Okay, so the citywide cleanup, rain or shine, will be March
Yeah,
18th and 19th?
just the 19th.
Just the 19th. So the
Yeah.
citywide cleanup will just be Saturday, March 19th,
Yeah.
even though everything else may be canceled that day.
There is another aspect that we talked with the organizers. For the 18th, one of the projects that they're looking at doing is to clean out the ditch between Gulf Street and McDowell Street. We would not put city staff in the ditch. It would just be volunteers based on their waivers, their insurance coverage. Our city staff, though, would be staged on the roads to pick up the debris that they find in the ditch. So it would not be the city's responsibility to clean the ditch. Our only responsibility would be to carry off whatever the volunteers remove from the ditch. And that's only on the 18th, so we're not using staff on a Saturday to do that.
Right, and we also discussed that because there's so many homeowners along that corridor, that we're gonna need help from the city staff, contacting and letting them know and requesting permission from the homeowners to go through the yards and haul debris out through those yards. Homeowners should approve those requests, because we're cleaning up areas that they're responsible for, but because of the overwhelming amount of people along that corridor, we're gonna need some help from city staff to do that as well.
Okay. Any other questions?
That debris is just trash, right? You're not gonna cut all the trees down, are you?
I'm not. We are gonna talk to some homeowners. There are some homeowners that have contacted the city that have asked for some brush removal.
Okay.
What we'll do as a city is then turn those names over to this organization. They can contact them and work it out with the homeowner. So the city is removed from that.
Okay.
We've talked with legal counsel, and that's really the best way for us to do it, for the city to stay out of the responsibility unless we're contacted. So to answer your question, yes, there could be some brush removal, but that will be up to this organization finding out from those residents.
All right, thank you.
And how many block parties are you planning on doing this year? The same?
We did 4 last year. The one at Dyer Park wasn't attended very well. I think it was because the pool was open and there was another party under the Lions Pavilion. I'm meeting with the park department tomorrow. We'd like to still do all 4 at all 4 city parks, but if we can't get the Dyer Park Pavilion, we may only do the 3 at Centennial Park. For sure, Phillips Park was the highest attendance out of them all, and Chestnut Park, for sure.
I did attend some of those block parties last year, and they were very well attended, and it was a nice event, so thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion and a second, so any other discussion on this? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is Mr. Clayton Alcorn with Bristol Care Utility. Darren and Kenny, you guys don't have to stay if you don't want. Feel free to. I know you got a youngster there. I don't want you to have to. Thanks, Kenny.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm Clayton Alcorn, and I'm here tonight. I represent the Lift Care Incorporated out of today, Missouri. Thank you. Did everybody hear the first part? Anyway, I am here, and we have quite a few assisted living facilities, one of which is in Odessa at 115 South Fifth Street. I laid before you, when I came in, a copy of our water bill